Welcome everyone to the 1% Better podcast. This is your host Sam. This is where everyday Joes, investors, and business people get 1% better. Today we have Mike Frisk on. Mike, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you came from, what you do now, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, well, I've been, since 1994, I've been doing real estate management when I was going to Iowa State originally, but my wife and I got married in 94. And so really it's the only job I've ever had, and that's just managing real estate for myself and other people.
Okay.
This is year, 32 of doing some version of it.
Wow. So did you go to Iowa State for business, or was it something totally unrelated?
I totally wanted to be a teacher and a coach. So
Okay.
I have a K-6 teaching degree, which I've yet to do. I've coached pretty much everywhere since 94, 93 is when I first started coaching somewhere.
Okay.
So I did, I was going to be a teacher and a coach. That was the goal. And then I met up with some people, and while I was looking for a part-time job, that's kind of how it sort of started for, hey, a summer job remodel on a fraternity house. That's kind of how it started. And then from there, they ended up, having some opportunities there from there.
How'd you get, who led you into the real estate business? I feel like everyone's got that one guy that the light kind of struck on. And...
Well, I think, like I said, I was just going to school to go teach and coach, and couldn't wait to get out and go do those things. And then as I was doing this, I started out just doing whatever. We were framing. I've done a little bit of everything on a project here and there, just kind of grunt work, if you will, minimum wage type stuff, and just met up with two guys in particular, Gary Hested and Jim Cornwell. And those guys, were kind of who I was working for those first couple years. And then when I went to go have my first teaching opportunity, I went and did an interview and had a job offer. I was going to go somewhere like 3-4 hours away. My wife wouldn't have had a job at the time. And then as we're driving back home, I got the call, and he said, they did the reference check with Jim, and he said, yeah, you'll like him, but we're going to keep him. And so that was kind of how it started. And I said, I didn't want to be a maintenance man or a person, but I want to get into real estate at that point. And that's kind of how it started.
Really? And the rest is history.
Yeah, it's a long process, but now I'm feeling older as I think about how many years I've been doing it.
Yeah.
But we started with about a couple hundred real estate properties in town.
Always the names then?
Yeah, pretty much. We've been to Nevada a few times, and Boone, Ankeny. We have one building in Ankeny now, but really just Ames. And so locally, we're a local company with like 15 employees at this point.
Yep.
And just, fortunate to be in town and enjoy what we're doing.
Yeah, because I'm kind of just getting started out with my Airbnb property management. I know we worked together a little bit on that. What did the team work like back then to what it's evolved to now?
Well, I think early on, good keys to success is surrounding yourself around good people. And those two gentlemen in the real estate world, one was on the banking side and finance side, and the other was managing property. And that's all things that fascinated me. I mean, I grew up from, I was a small town kid from Randall, Iowa, which is part of South Hamilton schools originally. And just, grew up just working to earn everything I ever got, and, enjoyed some of this real estate side of things to a point where it wasn't what I thought I was going to go to school and do or learn about. And, just goes to show, just because you have a degree in something doesn't mean that's how you're going to use it, but just having that knowledge and the base around you and stuff. So I really enjoyed learning more about it. But as early on, I was just more taking it all in and trying to learn from people that knew what they were doing, and not to make a mistake. I mean, I didn't buy my first own personal property right away, but sometimes the best deals are ones that you don't do also. I found out as well. I mean, because a couple times we had offers on some stuff and we didn't get it or whatnot, and you're like, oh, that's a bummer or frustrating. And but then you realize that maybe there were some hiccups in there that might come down the road that might have bit you later anyway. So so sometimes it's just about being selective and being patient. And as you're younger and we're all excited to go do something and willing to put in sweat or whatever to get something done. But there's a fine line to it all. And, I don't know how some people just manage 1 or 2 units, because now I have help with all the stuff we do. But because I think it can get to you. I'm on call 24 hours a day. The first 17 years of work, I was the only person on call. And so these last years we've had rotating maintenance schedules, and I still take all the fire calls and
Yeah.
along with my property manager and stuff. So it's been fun, but I mean, it's not for everybody. I always tell people,
Yeah.
like you have to look at your phone and check it and make sure there's nothing going on, but also be present where you're at. So there's a good mix to it.
Yeah, for sure. On vacation, it's like you can never truly turn it off,
Right.
you know?
Yes, it's been good these last few years because I've had pretty good help, and that makes all the difference in the world, having good workers or people that you trust. But my wife has been in the company now for 10 to 12 years. I pulled her away from, McFarland Clinic where she was a medical assistant, and she's been doing bookkeeping and different things. So it's been nice. But when we go away, we still have things to check
Yeah.
or do. But we also understand that there's more to it than that. So, we got to keep living life and doing the things we want to do. So,
Yeah, that's the beautiful thing about being self-employed is you don't truly get the time off on vacation, but then you have the flexibility if you need to go leave at 2 o'clock to go coach, girls basketball,
Yeah.
you can do that, and vice versa and everything else that comes with it. But
right. No, I agree. And so I have flexibility, but then I don't have flexibility. There's some things that are
Yeah.
there, and sometimes you just have to roll with it. We've had weird things have happened over the years, whether it's a fire at an apartment building or something like that, where it just changes your day or your couple weeks or whatever. But, we want to provide something that's a good market to Ames people and feel thankful that we're in a college town, to be honest with you. So,
yeah, what does the day in the life look like for Mike Frisk these days?
well, I mean, depends on the season, but like I generally, I'm up and going. I like to get going. So by 7:30, I'm in the office usually every day. Try to leave at 5 now. I mean, there was a time where I was 7 to 6 quite regularly, or as much as I had to be. And then,
Yeah.
during basketball season, I have to leave a little early for practice and games. So like November, December, January, February, a little bit. Hey, Mike's leaving for the other thing he does. And sometimes my basketball kids don't realize that I actually have a job outside of basketball coaching. And, it's something I really enjoy doing and impacting people and doing it the right way. And, but no, it's a typical day, like I said, just working, and you never know. I mean, like I said, today I had a couple of, owner phone calls. We had a meeting about rentals for next year, and you're always doing something. We try to meet with our staff once a week on a group meeting and that kind of stuff too. So I don't always lead that. I have a property manager, Brian, who's kind of running a lot of the things for us right now. And then between the two of us, we kind of like, what's the plan? What's the goal? Where we're trying to get. So again, having good staff makes it a lot better and more enjoyable. I've done it with less people before, but having the right amount of staff or being able to grow, even with what you have, even if you have too much staff, is sometimes better than not having enough and not doing it well.
Yeah. What keeps you fired, motivated, still going? 32 years isn't a
Yeah.
cakewalk. That's a long time to get up every single day and keep loving it.
Yeah.
Maybe not loving it, but keep showing up to work every single day.
It's a lot. I mean, can I say that I'm as excited about some of that stuff? That's why you have help, to help take care of the things that maybe you're not as wanting to do anymore. I love certain aspects of it, but certainly I've also filled my time with some other hobbies. I do a little bit of helping on some farm stuff and just doing something different,
Yeah.
and that keeps me excited and motivated. And as I get older, I have 3 younger kids. They're anywhere from 27 down to 19. So, I mean, we're getting to the point where our goal is to have some flexibility, more flexibility, and then, so we can help them out or be where they need to be or whatever. Be a parent that's present, and be a grandpa someday, but I'm not that old yet. So, but it's all fun. So,
Yeah, it's coming probably down the line. I'm 27 now, and I don't know, God willing, maybe someday, have kids. So
kids were we had 3 kids and just blessed with all the fun of that. And just some days as I've gotten older now, seeing how kids are busy today with all their activities, I'm like, how did we get through that?
Yeah.
And I like sometimes we'll go home, we don't have anything major to do tonight, but we still feel busy.
Yeah.
Whereas in the past, we used to do a kid activity till 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and then you get up and do work again the next morning. So sometimes the going to work on a Monday was less busy than the whole weekend because you're running for soccer or basketball or whatever it was. So, but it's the best time. I mean, I would, those 20 years of having kids. I had a high schooler for like 13 years in a row.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. And so this is really our first year without having a high schooler in a long time. So
You still could probably get some college activities, not as many, but
yeah, there's
you know,
stuff
there's
like that
still
going
stuff
on.
going
And our one daughter is still living in Ames, living in an apartment,
Okay.
and still comes home for some free suppers and lunches. And I think we're cooking again for her and her boyfriend tonight, I think. So I'm not, I guess my wife probably is. I might
Have you
help
met
a
him
little bit.
before, or is this the first time?
Oh no, we've met him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
Okay,
And so we'll have a little evening so then they can get back to their grind of school and studies and stuff. But it's kind of fun to have that flexibility and stuff. So
Cool. Yeah, it's always something. Yeah, it's something, you know, God willing, have kids in the future. But right now, I kind of like a little bit of freedom too. You know, it's like if I need to leave on a weekend, it's not like you're really tied down to anything, you
Right.
know, besides work and the business. But it's like once you add a cat is just one thing. We just have a cat right now, and just like kind of coordinating that little stuff is like, oh man. Can imagine having, you know, a child that depends on you. It's like, okay, you're really gonna change some schedules around, and yeah, it'd be fun though, I think.
you'll do great, Sam. I'm sure you will.
Okay.
But the good news is that, you know, you build up to those 9 months and then you have it, and then it does change you. Yes. But you're going to be who you are. And like our kids were always on the run because we were on the run. So like it's a new normal. But it's worth it. I think we waited 4 years, I think, of marriage and then had kids and just worked out, like I said, God willing. But you know, there's no rush, like you said, because time does go quick either way you look at it. So make the most of what you got.
For sure. What's kind of your aspect look like on the real estate market moving forward, as far as maybe Ames particular? Because you have your hand on a lot of stuff. You see a lot of moving parts that people might not see, you know, outside looking in. Maybe let's just do like Ames, Central Iowa market itself.
Well, I think the market in general is good. You know, I think you talk to certain people and they want to see a vacancy rate in Ames that's high enough, so maybe it stops some of the building. But you know, I've been spoiled in 32 years of stuff. We generally are 100% full in everything we have. So, and we rent to anybody. We don't rent to just a student or just a non-student. We have some buildings that are maybe more specific to them, but where you want to live. If you want to be a block from campus, you probably aren't going to be a certain person doesn't want to necessarily live right there with a bunch of undergrads. But I think the market's pretty good. I would say for us, we're renting things for 26, 27 right now, and we're down to our, I think, last 100 units. And we're finding the 3s and the 4-bedroom stuff closer in this year has been a little harder.
Really?
And when I talk to other landlords closer in, some of that is not everybody wants to live together anymore. They'd rather have a 1 or a 2 and not have to worry about 3 people or 4 people or 5, you know. So we're still wrapping up some 3s and 4s, and most years I'd say that's done by now or close to. So we're down to our last 10 or 15 close in, I guess. It's not that many, but when you think about some years we've been done in January, you know, so with the market and stuff. So
Interesting.
But 1s and 2s and further out of kind of almost full and done. So it's just seems like usually you think proximity to campus is where where everybody wants to be. But I feel like there's enough things out there in the world today, whether it's, you know, getting rides into campus or having food delivered to your house, whatever, that, you know, they're just going for the best deal. And it doesn't matter what location it is.
Interesting. Yeah, because I know what's that new apartment they're building in Huxley?
Oh yeah.
That's all 1 and 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, I mean,
the only thing.
And there's been nothing that big and new in Huxley for quite some time. I think, is that a Bella Homes group? It looks beautiful over there. My daughter went to the coffee shop the other day and told me about that. And it sounds like they've got a bunch of stuff going on there. It's weird when I drive through Huxley the other day and then you're like, it's outside of town a little bit. Yeah. And so people got to want to be there. And so it's certainly an easy corridor to get to Ankeny or Des Moines or back to Ames if you're going to work. But you know, hopefully the renting goes well there. I mean, I think the market's not bad. Huxley's a great town, so I think there's a lot of amenities with the new Fairway, and I heard they're getting the McDonald's too. Yeah, McDonald's. But there's a lot of good growth there and some good restaurants, so it's nice to see Huxley grow. You know, quite a bit differently. I mean, it's different than even like going to Gilbert, where there's a few apartment buildings that are newer there too. Yeah. But I do feel like the growth being closer to a bigger community Ankeny, Des Moines.
Yeah,
Makes it a logical spot.
for sure.
So I think it'll go pretty good.
That restaurant is supposed to be pretty good. I haven't been there yet, but it's supposed to be pretty good. Like
Yeah.
similar to like Provisions Cafe type of vibes.
Can't
I
go
hear.
wrong there.
No, my wife loves Provisions. She's probably there once or twice a week.
People know her by name.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, my middle daughter worked up at Cafe for a couple of years as a hostess and just loved it. And it was a good atmosphere. And of course, we'd go there. Obviously, we're walking distance away, so we'd go up once in a while. But just it's good and convenient and easy to get good food. So
For sure. How have you had to change and evolve over the years from going to handyman, carpenter, doing all the grunt work to kind of being the hands-on manager to now the leader of your company? How has you had to evolve personally to be able to fit those roles?
I think for me, it's just something that happened over time. It didn't happen one day. I had to do this and one the next. I fortunately had, like I said, had good people in front of me that just kind of eventually just said, "You're doing it, Mike," as a part of it. Like next thing you know, I'm doing this or I'm doing that. And it was good growth, but I had let's see, I think I got my broker's license in 1998. So I've had I went and got my real estate license right away. To manage in the state of Iowa for other people, you're supposed to have a broker's license. And I think a lot of people do it that way, but there's definitely some that aren't necessarily following those rules, which I don't care. It's fine. It's just, there's certain things that we follow, and so having the broker's license is nice so we can manage for other people. And I would say our portfolio, like I said, is probably 65 for other people and 35 for things I have ownership in or myself. So somewhere in there. So we're a little bit of both.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Anything in the evolution of like technology? I think of like, you probably weren't using Appfolio back then, were you?
No.
Like how did that look? And then like now.
So rent day used to be like 2 days of not fun stuff. So I think,
what was it called?
Rent. I call it rent
just
days.
rent day.
The first of the month when everybody brought their checks in or they had cash or whatever. But I think it was 2012. We actually got away from handwriting every receipt, handwriting every check that came in and posting onto a spreadsheet or whatever, or handwritten. We had ledgers. I still have paper ledgers that I do just for fun on some of our rental trust stuff, where we just have a file with the paper file, even though the world is kind of going away from that. But it's nice to three-way tie and do some things through a spreadsheet like that. But Appfolio we've been doing for probably almost 14 years now, and I think we were the second company in town to do Appfolio.
Yeah. And
we learned a little bit from the company Triplet was using it at the time, so we went over and got a little bit of a learning experience, and it was so nice because all the money, the rents went already into the right spot if they paid online, so it was so handy. And now it's like the only way to go. It's just like it's just like issuing a payment out and just sending money is so much different today than it was. I can recall actually getting my first cell phone. That's how old I feel. Whereas somebody like you who grew up with a phone probably when you were in 5th grade had a phone or whatever.
Yeah, I was like the last generation. I didn't get an iPhone till like my freshman year. So like I still had like that childhood, junior high. Like you were still just, hanging out.
Being a kid.
Yeah.
And so, we had a bag. I think we had 2 bag phones. One was my other partner's at the time, and we used it during turnover time because we were calling each other for everything all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And so we needed this phone thing. And then we're like, man, we need to go buy one. And so I've had the same phone number since I got my first cell phone 30 some years ago or whatever now. And it's just funny how the world has revolved around your phone and all the things you can do on it. I mean, just sending, whether, like I said, I can look at all my stuff from here. It's just so more readily available, I guess. And just having Appfolio or somebody that can synchronize all that stuff, pushing out work orders. We created a system on our own, an old system on a computer where we could spit out a work order, but it was all coded with numbers like apartment numbers like 212.01, and that was so we knew that was 212 Walnut number 1. And so we would just print off the spreadsheet, and then the guys would go do their work and bring it back in. And whereas now it's all live activated and we could see where they're at. And, you have GPS in vans. I mean, just all the things have changed in the last 30 years, and which 90% of it's great. It just sometimes they make changes to something and you're like, man, I like the old way. But
it's like, adapt. It's learning like a new language almost. Like some of those, because like each, Appfolio, Buildium, whatever ones you use, it's like their own little language inside it. They all do the same thing, but it's like where you click and find this and this setting and this automation is here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like its own little world.
Yeah, and I think like I love Appfolio and nothing against it, but I mean we've looked into some other other options, and just like we're just too comfortable to change.
Yeah.
You know, I've talked to a couple people in town here that have done like Bound and Turning Machine and created some real cool programs and said we need to create a landlord management software thing here that we could put out to the world, because I feel like we could make one, but they've never taken me up on the idea yet. So.
Yeah, it's sticky. It's like I changed banks this year, and it wouldn't sound like that much to change banks. Like same thing, like changing management software, but it's you got all the stuff in there and all these little costs and all these little things that you built out, and you try to change it, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is parts going everywhere.
Yeah.
Like the pain's got to be so bad that you're like, okay, now I'll change now.
Right.
I'll go through the pain of starting all the way new just to get rid of this.
It's a fine line, because like sometimes you don't realize that maybe it was as bad as I thought.
Yeah.
But you don't know that until you've made that change.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like I said, it's just time, and whether it becomes a cost situation or if it becomes just an efficiency, sometimes it's just worth doing something more. And, like we're still figuring out whether we like the idea of having people answer calls through AI, for example. We haven't done that yet, but other companies are switching, corporately or bigger companies where you can click on a button and someone will start talking to you, and they know your information. I don't know if it's all accurate or not, but it's out there.
Yeah, I've looked into, like part of my Airbnb stuff, I have an AI, like they don't respond to all the AI messages, but like if it's just like, hey, what's the door code? It's going to be an AI message, like stuff like that,
Right.
that they automatically know it. Like if it's, hey, the thermostat's not working because it got pulled off the wall, it's not going to respond to that.
Right.
But I watched a video the other day, and it's just this. All this guy does is just try to stump AI. And so he was talking into ChatGPT. He goes, "Hey, ready? I'm gonna go run a mile." And he literally just steps out of the camera frame, steps back, and goes, "I'm done." He goes, "Looks like you've ran that mile in 7 minutes and 22 seconds." And he's like, "No, it should have been like 2 seconds." So there's like things out there, like I don't think it can reason very well.
Right.
And it's like if you call in and want half your rent off because there's water coming out of the ceiling, how is it gonna like emotionally tell
Right.
what you're feeling and your tonality and
Right.
that kind of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, there's some nice, like you said, clear-cut answers that I think AI could be beneficial to, and maybe as it gets tweaked as the years go on, which we're seeing changes all the time. So, but for now, like I said, it's just easier for someone to call an after-hours emergency number, talk to my, on-call person after we get a call or whatever it is, and just pay the service. And plus, like I said, we're trying to respond in a quick manner, right?
Yeah.
If someone's trying to push a button and ask for answers and how to get a hold of somebody, I got water leaking in my ceiling. They need somebody now,
Yeah.
and the quicker we can do that, the better.
For sure.
And that's hard. You think about things that happen in your own house. How fast can you respond?
Yeah.
And sometimes things just happen regardless. I mean, as much as no one wants it to, but all we can do is get there and do the cleanup and take care of it and make people as happy as we can. But
For sure.
things happen.
Yeah. Shit happens.
For sure.
And it's always gonna, for sure. That's, what is it, like a new home, like a agent in Des Moines that sells a lot of houses. He told me best way to describe new construction to clients is imperfect parts made on moving ground with human hands.
There you go.
Nothing's ever gonna be perfect.
No. Yeah, I've never seen a new move-in that looks perfect,
No.
and as well, whether it's a house or an apartment building. I mean, over the years, we've built a few things here and there, and so it's frustrating when you think you've got all this money invested and it's not more ready. But generally, it looks pretty darn good. But like you said, on the surface, anybody can nitpick something apart.
Yeah, 100%. And they will. Some people will.
It's just like a turnover move-in. You have someone clean it and it's all ready to go, and then they move in. They don't necessarily like it because it's not clean enough. Well, I would say most of us. I've had 3 kids go to college somewhere. We've cleaned every house we've ever moved our kids into, whether it's bathrooms or the places that they're going to use or whatever, and just make it our own clean, just because you're going to do that. There's always going to be some of that. Now, no one should have to clean up somebody else's mess. I agree, but there's something to come with that.
For sure. Going back to that AI thing, though, you talked about, the one thing I have used it for recently is getting rid of my bookkeeper. So like it can't like pull all the information in, which is one of the downsides. So you still need to like input your bank account statements or your invoices or whatever. But if it has it all, it can build some pretty dang good reports.
You've been doing that?
Yep. So you've been using it for like the last 2 or 3 months. Claude. Have you heard of Claude? It's actually, so think of it like ChatGPT, but actually can start to do things for you. It's really good with like pages and like spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff. And then you can build like even apps with it. And like for me, I know nothing about tech, like coding essentially. And you can just talk to it in first person, be like, hey, this is my goal, do this, this, and this. And obviously you'll have some edits to it, but it could like roll you up a first property management app tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So like, when you say it's doing some bookkeeping, so you don't, for example, if you aren't using QuickBooks anymore because it's doing it for you?
So I used to have to pay for the enterprise plan, which is like, I don't know, $300 a month, $400 a month. So I dumbed it all the way down to the simple plan, so just to get the feed, because you're gonna need the transactions no matter what.
Right.
So it still feeds through there, but now you can just download that one report for all the different bank accounts and credit cards, then upload it in there. And then I said, before you do that, go scan back through the last 2 years of transactions to get an idea of what should be to what vendor. And it did that. And then there's still some questions at the end of it, like the same thing your bookkeeper would know, like, hey, there's this random $5,000 expense over here. Is that earnest money deposit? Is that a security refund? Like stuff like that. If it doesn't know the answer, it's still going to ask you. But the reports were just as good as hers.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's, like you said, there's some good in that. Biggest thing is to make sure you're getting the information you want. I mean, well, I mean, if it's posting, at the end of the day, an expense is an expense, right? So, I mean, if it's maybe misposted to something else, as long as it's within reason, it's probably okay. But you just want to make sure you're getting, depending on if you're sending reports to other people or this is just for you, because they're not going to want to see that, something tagged to something totally wrong.
You still have to have review to it, obviously.
Yeah, but at least then you could do it at your leisure, though, and it's not like it's a big deal at the end of the month to do all these reports. I mean, because typically, right, for us, I'm sure for you, like first of the month, you do your balancing, but some of it you can do anymore now with tying into a bank. You can kind of do it throughout the month. I mean, I love that part of like whether it's QuickBooks for my house accounts or whatever, but AppFolio, you can sync it to a bank. So I mean, and you can copy and paste or scan stuff in and make it as detailed as you want, or let them do the work for you.
For sure. And it's like, man, starting a business always sounds fun, to everyone else, but then it's like, well, you're 3 hours into your QuickBooks accounts just trying to figure stuff out.
Right. What's what?
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot. And then, when you're, as you're younger or as you're starting out something new, for us, we've just done that's why I want, I've always done a certain amount of bookkeeping because I didn't go to school to be a bookkeeper. And I love basic math, but I mean, spitting out a report or having somebody else do it and then I can review it is certainly become a nice way to review what's going on the big picture of things. So, but I always say you got to be able to know how to do something sometimes before you can give it to somebody else to do or whatnot. I've always told people I've cleaned out, weird stuff in a laundry room before, like, people go to, whatever, things happen or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid to go pick something up, do something, but like I said, everybody's got to be able to do something, and not be afraid of attacking it.
For sure. What's your team look like now as far as you said 15 team members? What does that all consist of?
Something like that. I guess I didn't count exactly, but like I've got a general manager, property manager that kind of oversees everything, and he kind of helps with the maintenance side and also with the leasing side. And then, I would say we got 2 full-time leasing agents that kind of spend, like I said, we got 1,100-ish units that we're renting, and we have a few units where we're not renting August to August. If like a lot of college town stuff is that way, but we've got like 100 and some units that are just kind of like as they come open, we re-rent them for another year or whatnot. And it's been kind of nice to have something different, because Ames is always just tied to the college setting time frame always. So it's been nice to have other options when people come to town. Then I've got a couple bookkeeper stuff, a receptionist, 5 full-time maintenance guys. We kind of just general rule of thumb would be like 250 units to 1 maintenance guy. In a general sense. But Some of the things depends on the age of them too. Some of our apartment buildings that we manage are up in that 40, 50 year range. So we're actually, gutting cabinets out and doing doors and trim. We have people that we pay outside of us. If we're slow, we have a couple guys that can do trim level carpentry. That
Okay.
I actually still have my first employee I've ever hired.
Really?
He's been with me since 1998.
That's awesome.
I think he's got a nicer house than I do. But he's a great guy, and so he's been working with us for a long time. But he can do a little of everything. So
Yeah.
it's nice to have a couple more experienced guys. Then we have a couple guys that are a year or two into it and enjoying it. And so you're only as good as your staff. I always tell people that. And we're really lucky right now with a good group of people that, hopefully are serving the needs of our people.
Isn't that a sport? I feel like I've heard my football coach that you're only as good as your worst player.
Oh, yeah.
You're only
Yeah,
as
yeah.
strong as your weakest link.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, we talk about it, and it's one way to push people to be better too, and in basketball, like I said, I've got 30 some girls out for basketball, and I'm like, to motivate somebody to say, hey, I need you to be better too, so we can be better in practice, so we can be better in the game, even if you're not playing, or even if you don't feel like you're, the top dog or whatever. It really doesn't matter. We're all part of a team. I don't care if I'm not a title person in general. I just want to be a part of something bigger than myself.
What's kind of your philosophy for sports and team leading? Are like you big on the goals at the beginning of the year, or like what's kind of are you more of a wooden coach? Like
Yeah.
what do you, how do you do
I mean,
that?
I'm certainly a wooden fan. I mean, of the hierarchy, pyramid of success, and all that good stuff. I mean, I love wooden stuff, but I mean, I would just say today's kid and adapting to what's going on in the real world, I guess. I mean, you just adjust. I mean, I've coached girls and I've coached boys, and I think I've done 18 years. My 19th year coming up will be of a head coaching job, so it's been fun. We don't specifically always say, we don't sit down and say these are the goals we want every year. We just generally haven't said every year we'd like to be a state champion, but I mean, for one, you'd like to win conference, you'd like to go to state or do something special. But to me, it's about maximizing the potential. And like last year, we only ended up being like 500, but I felt like we maximized our potential, and we ended up losing, I think, to Carlisle, who won the state championship this year by 8 points.
Okay.
But they also pounded a lot of people this year. And so
Yeah.
we were in a lot of games, and we had one of our better kids got injured, missed the whole season. So she'll be back next year, and return a lot of kids, had some good seniors. So it's fun each year to build a group. And part of that starts in the summer all the way to next year. And so the summer's about, trying out some things and figure out what you want to do. But goal-wise, we sit down and we talk about it. I've meet with the seniors and try to make it a good experience for them. We're a high school experience. It's not going to be like everybody's going D1, everybody's going to go play college basketball. And so I need an experience that, one, they're going to remember and feel like they're a part of something bigger than themselves. And I think that's one thing that I've enjoyed doing the most, is have great coaches that are with me. And that's why I'm still coaching probably. And the kids are just great, and when you have those combinations, and people are, succeeding in life, that's a win.
Yeah. It's probably fun to see them later in their life too, hey, remember me, coach? Yeah, what's what I'm up to now? You build some pretty cool relationships.
It's been fun. And so hard to believe, but like I've even coached a couple of kids' parents now. That's how old I am.
Oh, man.
And I didn't realize how young I was when I first started coaching, because I think my first coaching job was when I was 18 or 19.
Wow.
And so when I was 23, I was probably coaching kids that were 18. So it's possible they're closer to my age than you thought. But at the time, that girl was my point guard, and I coached her daughter at a different school 20 years later. And so kind of funny, small world, but it's like, man, I guess I didn't realize how young I probably was when I first started.
Yeah.
And I wish I knew all the things I know now that I didn't know then, and, you learn from what you know, who you were coaches with, and then you develop your own philosophies and stuff. And I coached some soccer, but I attribute everything back to basketball. So I wasn't a very good soccer coach for little kid stuff, but it was fun.
Yeah. Huh. So because you used to coach at Roland Story too, didn't you?
Yeah.
For a little bit.
Yeah. So I did 13 years at Roland Story, 10 as head. I left in 2009-10 after the state tournament team. That year, I was just trying to go when it was a non-year of excitement one way or the other, but we kind of finished 2 years in a row going to state with different teams completely.
Yep.
And started really getting the program going and stuff. And it was fun, but I also had 3 kids, and my oldest at the time was going to be a junior high kid at Ames.
Okay.
And we live in Ames, and I just kind of wanted to be a dad. So I went and volunteered took a year off, volunteered at Ames for about 7 or 8 years, and didn't head coach. And then I kind of missed it again. But yeah,
Yeah.
I loved my Rolling Story gig. It was fun because I grew up from South Hamilton, which was a rival school.
Yep.
And so it was just a great experience. I mean, good people there.
Yeah, that's cool.
I think you married somebody from Rolling Story.
Yeah, maybe. I've been there once or twice. I think one time we maybe got lunch or something, and I didn't know you coached Gilbert.
Yeah.
And one of the Truesdale girls were playing, Emma or Claire, I can't remember. And probably Claire.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that Mike Frisk coaching down there? And I had to take like a triple take, and I was like, yeah, it is Mike. Okay.
Yes. No, it's weird. It was always weird going back to Rolling Story. And then anyway, I certainly would have probably stayed at Rolling Story had I didn't really, other than I needed a break in life, maybe from basketball, being a head coach. It was, it was fun. So, but yeah, I've enjoyed doing it, and I'm just better busy, Sam. And I think you're younger and you're motivated and you want to do well, and but you also don't want to let something slip and not do well enough. So you got to be careful of being over busy, too busy. But I just, if I have too much time on my hands, I could sit and watch TV and do nothing. So I'd rather just stay busy doing something.
I hear ya. Yeah, it's got to keep going. There's too many distractions anymore.
There is, and I don't know about you, but I enjoy watching my Iowa State basketball and football and that kind of stuff too. So we're generally doing something quite regularly somewhere. So
yeah, you go down to the tournament.
I do. The last 3, 4, 5, 6 years, I've been going down to Big 12s anyway, and that's been fun. I don't really like it now that when they go separate girls and boys. For a while, it was them at the same time, so you could go catch a girls game, catch a guys game.
That'd be fun.
And that was fun. And so I'm not sure I'm going to keep doing both every time because it's a long time. We rented an Airbnb down there and just kind of remote worked for a little bit and went to a bunch of games because I like basketball. So
yeah, I enjoy doing that. That's one of the nice things about being self-employed.
Yes.
You can go down to Kansas City and work a little bit, catch a few games.
It's fun.
The court, I didn't really love that court. That was kind of...
It was weird.
Yeah.
And, it was... I think they thought they had a neat deal, but the reality was I don't think the world was ready for it. And the kids are slipping. I'm a coach, so I saw some of the sliding going on in the girls' tournament, thinking how the guy's going to handle this. And he was... I think Lipsy was all over the... sliding all over, and he already gets on the ground anyway. He doesn't... I just didn't want him to get hurt.
Yeah.
So it was nice that they went back to the old wood floor there at the end. So
they should have been calling on you. You've already spotted that a week in advance.
I could have gave it to him right then. Get rid of it.
Just give him the NIL deal, a little endorsement there on the court or something.
Yeah, it was neat how they got all the colors and stuff. And I'd heard that some NBA teams were able to, I think some of them have it in practice courts, and I heard they could draw up things like on a iPad.
Oh, that'd be
and there were
cool.
some really cool things and features about it. I'm not so sure that was a great spot for like real games situations.
Did you watch the Iowa State Arizona game?
Yes, I was there.
That was probably the best game I ever watched in person.
Yeah, it was fun.
As intense.
It was fun. I mean, we had a great season. We had Arizona guys kind of around us as well, and where we were sitting, and it was just good banter.
Yeah.
They were talking. I was not. I was just watching. But what a run of games! I think there was, I don't know how many shots in a row they said was made that last 6 minutes of the game. I feel like there was only like 2 misses the last 4 minutes. I mean, it was big shot after big shot, and I mean that was amazing. I mean, it sucked to lose, but
you can't be mad.
No, I mean you couldn't have done much else.
No,
I mean,
even Momcilovic's 3 threes in a row to end that half. God, that was insane. I didn't realize obviously the last one right before half was insane, but I knew he had made a couple before, but until the replay the next day, I didn't realize how sweet that actually was.
Yeah.
I was like, holy cow.
So you were down there too?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that was a great game. And I was just like, we were kind of the opinion, like we wanted to win it all, obviously, but in the same sense, for health wise, if we did lose, let's play well and then go get the tournament. And I was like, we went into the tournaments playing well. So that was all you could ask for. So
for sure.
It was a high level game. I mean, it felt like a Final Four game.
It did. Yeah. Well, it was our Iowa State's Final Four in our heart.
There you go.
Yeah.
We tried.
Yeah, for sure. What do you got planned for the rest of the year, Mike? Anything big coming up? I know you're always moving and grooving with something.
No, I mean, I think Tomorrow, I've got one of my ownership groups is looking at a building tomorrow, so we're going to go look at one that's on the market.
How does that work? You okay to talk about that on the air?
I mean, it's not. This one's not for me, so I mean,
Okay.
it would be something we'd manage. But it's on the Des Moines market, I guess, if you will. And so, kind of just want to see what the condition really is because it's not brand new anymore. They've said they've remodeled it, so I'm excited to see if what's a remodel. Because some people mean that's paint and carpet, and no countertops that are still from 1980. So just want to see what the conditions really are. The vacancy's higher than most of my stuff, so I just want to see, what it looks like. But their rents were maybe a little higher than I thought they would be. So I'm anxious just to see the totality of the situation. Outside, it looks nice, newer siding, newer windows and roof and stuff like that. So, right now, today's market, when you're running numbers and stuff, a lot of them just don't pencil real well unless you're paying with a bunch of cash. So, and so personally, I wasn't really looking at it as a good number because I thought the cap was probably too high when you run, all the things you're paying for. So, but I've got this other group, and so we managed something for them, and they wanted me to look because they're from out of state. So I was just going to go take a peek. And maybe even FaceTime them and show them a couple of the units if they want. But it's kind of
so you
their
say
decision.
ownership group, that's just someone you manage for. You don't do anything you don't do any partnerships or syndications or nothing like that.
Right. No, I mean, I have some partnerships with people, and some of it's, my first thing I ever bought in town was with my best friend, and so we bought I think a 5-plex was the first thing I ever bought, and I was a realtor, so I was able to get in there and buy something. And I said, hey, do you want to do this with me? And I kind of showed him what I thought it was going to do. And so we did it, and I think we owned it 10 years, and then he wanted to buy some farmland, and then I traded it into another building, which I ended up building a new building on. So I kind of used that to leverage, I guess, a little bit, something different. But there's a lot of good options. And back then I felt like there was better buys out there. There's certain ways when, everybody's got an opinion of what works for them, and sometimes they can run leaner in those early years if you're having a mortgage for 20 years or 15 or 30 or just a choice, but there's also a risk to all that too. So does it outweigh it? Probably depends who you talk to.
Yeah. Right when I first got in the business, I'd show single families right around COVID, and everything you had the great rates too, but everything cash flow $200, $300, $400, $500 just for a random single family in West Ames, and now it's after putting 25% down, you're lucky to have that number on the spreadsheet, anything positive.
Right.
You know?
And that's the hard part. But I guess, the one thing that's cool about real estate is that with time, if you keep your asset desirable and a nice marketable spot, hopefully it's worth more than what you paid for it, right? So some of that's future value money that, you get to see. So maybe I'm not getting rich on the monthly, but over the long term of it, I get the debt paid down, or re-leverage it to something else, so I can get into something that I want, or trade it in a 1031. And that's what I think there's still some good stuff out there like that. I think you just gotta be careful of, finding out what all your exposures are to something that's not new, right? Especially a multifamily. Well, it's great. There's 7 or 8 units, or it's a 12-plex, but if I'm sitting on 3 of them, I'm not only losing, I'm not even cash flowing, I'm having to feed it. But it's still better than farmland, probably. So
I think everything's better besides maybe the appreciation play, pure cash flow. Is pretty bad. But what is vacancy is your biggest expense? Yeah,
totally. And then, for us, when I have something vacant, if something sits for 30 days, then we have to go say, well, what else do we need to do here? Because it's sitting there for sometimes if names, I would say if you miss the August term and you're vacant, you may sit till December. So that's 3 months. So, unless you've got someone in there right away, I mean, I'd rather and I don't have very things that are vacant very long. So we'd rather just get it going and spend the money now and be done. So maybe it's good for the next 5 to 10 years, or depends who you talk to. If you can get nice hardwood floors like you got in here, where you can just have them stained, they look good for a long time, whereas carpet maybe only lasts 5-7 years. Maybe it pays a little more to put the stain down, but it's worth it. Because traffic patterns and all that stuff.
For sure. Trim, that's one thing you don't think about. On a rental, I'll usually do more expensive trim compared to a house that I might just renovate, depending on the price point, obviously. Right. But some of that hardy, what is the composite trim.
Yeah.
You get any water on that,
Yeah,
blowing up.
It kind of ruins it.
Yeah.
MDF composite stuff or whatever.
Mhm.
Yeah, one of our friends just had a newer home in Story City. Sump pump was working, but it still backed up because it couldn't handle it. They had the 5-inch rain about 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Never had water in its place before, and all the trim literally it exploded, like you said.
Yeah.
And so he has none of it in the house. The doors even warped and got bad, and it wasn't even that much water on the ground.
Goodness.
So that is. And so we've generally, depends on the type of unit. Like I said, if we're going in now, you just got to be smart about it, I guess, and decide what's worth. Right now, the trend is in remodeling units, I would say, is just, a white trim and doors and stuff, and get rid of I call it old style legacy, where it's a pre-finished door and a pre-finished trim. But those things actually lasted forever too, and so I've got some 30-year-old buildings that still have that in there, and it looks fine. It's just starting to show the age. So it depends on the clientele and where you're at in the scheme of it. But
For sure, 100%. We like to end every podcast, Mike, with the lightning round. So I got 3 questions for you. What's your favorite book or podcast you'd recommend,
oh
or both?
boy, I mean, my wife would make fun of me because I haven't read a lot lately. I used to be a good reader of things, but I guess the last thing I read Boys in the Boat.
What's that about? I haven't heard that one.
It was that one is about. It was a movie also, so I've done that. But anyway, it was about these guys that were rowers in the 1930s or 40s, and it's about it's a sports
Teamwork.
movie, teamwork and grind. And these guys came from nothing, and anyway, they end up winning the Olympics.
Oh wow!
This rowing group, they're out of I think it was. Can't remember, somewhere on the West Coast where they won it, but it's a big thick book, but the book was great, but the movie was good too. So I'd say that would be what I would say.
There you go. What's something people often get wrong about your industry?
I think sometimes people think all landlords are trying to gouge people or do something, and so sometimes, unfortunately, if they've had a bad experience, then they think that way, right?
Yeah.
And so it's our job is to be fair and honest. And if I wanted to come back to me where someone's putting out our name as a good, that we're hopefully being fair and honest to them at all times. And so I know that this is like lawyers or car salesmen or some of those things are like, oh, landlord, they're just trying to screw you.
Yeah.
And it's disappointing to me because I know there's a lot of good people in Ames, Iowa that are doing a great job, but I also know there's a few that make it worse for everybody else too.
Yeah. Well, it's a hard job, not just the property maintenance side.
Yeah.
You have all these different components of 1,100 units that could break at any given time.
Yeah.
A fire, a flood, toilet, and all the small stuff that goes into that. But then you're handling these 3 or 4 people's emotions that go along with the place they live.
Yeah.
And then this gentleman, because it's not generally your property, it's someone else's. So you're relaying this information over to them and dealing with this guy's maybe budgets or constraints or concerns, then relaying it back to them.
Right.
And it could be a bunch of times.
Yeah. And it could be tough. And this is where, I guess it depends on what your philosophy is. I mean, I could say yes and manage everybody's stuff, but I also have to feel good about who we're managing for. So if I have an owner that's maybe not going to operate in a way where we feel like we're all on the same path or the same vein of how to treat people, then I can't do it. And it's easier to say that now because I have 1,100 units, but when I had 200, I'm trying to go to 500 so I could have extra staff and people to do things. Then you're man, you take on somebody. I mean, I've definitely in my 30 some years, I've had to tell a couple people no after the fact, after a year or two, if we're not going to, do it a certain way or standard, it reflects on our company, not them personally, because we're kind of covering it for them basically.
Yeah.
So there's that fine line to it. But I think if you're being good and honest, then you really have no problem to deal with.
For sure. And I would say 95% of the time, everyone's happy.
Oh yeah.
And it's just 5% something goes wrong and something, can't please everyone.
No, I wish you could, but it's just not reality.
I had, sometimes they'll say, Mike, the AC's too cold.
Too cold. I like that.
What's one underrated skill that's helped you win?
I would just say the determination to succeed, I guess. I mean, I don't like failing. I don't like putting off a product that's not right. I'm willing to sometimes my problem would just be that I want to make sure it gets done the right way, and so
Mm-hmm.
it's time invested for results, and if you're not willing to, you can't just say you want to have a successful business in life or you want to be happy. Like, you got to have steps to have that happen. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of that is just surrounding yourself around good people. Like I said, I'm thankful for, like I said, a wife of 32 years and high school sweetheart, and we've been gone together forever. She's my rock. And so to me, the two of us can conquer anything.
Yep. They say that's the best decision you'll ever make.
Totally.
Yep. Well, how can people find you, reach out, get to know you? What's the best way?
Well, I mean, we have, my company is First Property Management. We've been, we're a local Ames company. We're just here to help people. You can reach me via email or our website. You want me to give that out? Or
Sure, if you want. We can put it in the link too.
Yeah, that's fine. www.fpmofames.com.
There we go.
Or just send it to mike@fpmofames.com for email. We're here to help people. And, if I don't have the right answer, we'll find people that do.
For sure. Well, thanks for coming on here. It was great.
Thanks for having me, Sam.
Yeah, no worries.